Ring the bell.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slam Society. Welcome to our review show of WWE WrestleMania 40 Night 1. I'm one of your hosts, Karlifornia. This is Jooseyboy. How you doing, brother?
Well, we're gonna click the end of the video and do night 2 as a separate video. That's what you're saying. We're not just gonna record them all at once.
Correct, bro.
And split it up.
Yeah, we're splitting it.
So we're not doing a TV taping. We're doing live tapings for each night.
Correct, bro.
Yeah, motherfuckers. So this is, as Carl just said, this is our WrestleMania Night 1 review. Crazy card. We are going to be running down the card for you as usual. And then at the end, of course, we are going to be discussing a few little tweets that we saw on social media in regards to the show. And I'm sure as the discussion goes on, we'll probably think of some things that need mentioning as well.
Yeah,
initial thoughts for me on the arena and the opening package and stuff. I felt like I saw some people complaining about the set on when it was revealed, and I sort of think to myself, we're now getting to the point where at a certain point people have to understand there is a limit to what you can do in terms of building a set to one of these things. You know, like the bigger the set is, that's more seats you have to cut off. I don't see why I liked the set. I thought that it looked good for a WrestleMania. And I think that the production has definitely switched in a positive way post Kevin Dunn leaving the company. So that's the first major thing I wanted to say. Visually, I thought like this WrestleMania really looked like a sporting event, as more opposed to the constant zoom in and out and 500 camera cuts a move that even last year at WrestleMania we were still getting quite a bit of that. So yeah, I also felt like the looser production of the show, and this will include for night 2 as well, so I won't have to repeat myself, it reminded me more of like a boxing event or a UFC event in sort of how it looked and felt. And that's a good thing. I think that really added to the atmosphere for me.
I think it looks great there at Lincoln Financial Field. You know, they fit in 72,543 people. I liked the set too, bro. I liked the big XL at the front. All right, bro. Well, let's crack on with the very first matchup of this show, WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Rhea Ripley defending against Becky Lynch. Jooseyboy, take it away.
Yeah, bro. Well, you know, I think that this was really a tremendous match. I saw some people saying that, oh, you know, Becky and Rhea, they look sluggish. And, you know, even if one of them was sick and the other one had a panic attack, you know, it still just didn't. Like I saw a bunch of people saying, oh, I expected, you know, something that was on the level of Charlotte and Rhea last year. And my first response to that was, number one, Becky Lynch is a completely different worker than Charlotte Flair. It's not going to be the same kind of match because it's a completely different kind of character. I'm going to give the opening match here an A-. I actually thought that this was really good. It was almost too hot of a way to start the show because the crowd was shit through the middle of this first night. The crowd was really crap through the middle of the show. And this might have contributed to that because this was a really hot match. I enjoyed it. You know, I thought this was a great way to start off the show.
I heard a few people saying that it was very, very cold in the building.
Wear a fucking jumper. Wear an extra coat.
Exactly.
You know that I'll say this quickly. You know for months in advance that you're going to this event and that it's going to be an outdoor stadium. So bring an extra coat or a wool hat or some gloves. Like,
where are they going to put their replica title, bro?
Yeah, that's right.
Look, I thought this match was great. It had me and the people I was watching with on the edge of our seats. I did not want to see Rhea to lose to Becky here. Just because I think the era of Becky and Charlotte being at the top of the pile may need to be slowed down and backed off on in favor of talent like Rhea, Bianca, Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, Io Sky, etc. We've certainly seen enough of those two in the last 10 years. I just think it's someone else's turn. There's still a spot for those two on the roster. I just don't know where at this stage. But on a few occasions, I really thought Becky was going to win the championship. But when Rhea hit that riptide, the household I was in exploded and Rhea retained in style. And I thought it was a great way to start off WrestleMania in 17 minutes and 9 seconds. Let's move forward, Juicy Boy.
Absolutely.
Second matchup, Raw Tag Team, SmackDown Tag Team titles in the six-pack ladder match. Judgment Day, DIY, New Day, A-Town Down Under, New Catch Republic. And Awesome Truth, excuse me. Now, many people out there may know I'm not the biggest fan of the multi-man ladder match. In this case, though, I really thought that this was a pretty good one in comparison to the ones I've seen over the last few years, especially the ones put together by another company just because they try to shoehorn everyone in on shows. One of my greatest fears and horrors came true, though. They are separating the WWE tag team titles again and keeping those ugly belts. I have a big thing against having two tag team divisions because I think it takes up extra TV time that isn't necessary when you have women's tag titles that don't get enough focus as it is. And let's be honest, I think the women need a mid-card title to fight for, which they are getting in NXT now, apparently. But the other thing is, they have 5 to 6 matches every other usual PLE, so I think it's just not going to get the focus that they need, having now 3 tag divisions across 2 brands. I did like A-Town Down Under winning the SmackDown tag team titles. I think that was the right call to give the young guys a boost. And Awesome Truth winning the Raw tag titles was the right thing to do on the other brand because talent like R-Truth and Miz, they are veterans. They need some focus, and this gives something fun for them to do going forward as opposed to not really doing a whole lot. 17 minutes, 21 seconds. Juicy Boy, what did you think?
Yeah, so this is getting the B plus. I thought it was a pretty good match. I think you could have taken the New Day out of this match entirely, honestly. I'm really over the New Day, bro. I don't understand why it's now been coming up on it's got to be like 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's still the same. New Day rocks. Like that's Xavier Woods. That's been his entire career. He's never done anything else outside of that. And it's great if they make money and stuff like that. From an entertainment point of view, it's just like, come on, man. I don't know. It just wasn't necessary. I thought it made it a bit clunky. Favorite thing about the match was that they had 2 separate teams win the belts. I don't really like the idea of them being separated either. However, I feel like with Triple H being in charge, he'll probably actually stick to the rules of the draft that he's announced is coming back up. So I'm willing to give it more of a chance because I believe that he would see the value in keeping the brands split and actually doing it properly.
Fair enough, bro. I just think that they could have made just a tag two belts, get rid of the red and the blue ones, just one tag team title instead of 2, and have that tag team go across both brands to face all the tag teams on Raw and SmackDown. That's just me though. Anywho, let's move forward, Juicy Boy. Tag team match. Andrade teaming with Rey Mysterio, Carlito, the LWO at ringside. Zelina is there too. Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar with Angel, Humberto, and Electra at ringside. Legado del Fantasma. Juicy Boy, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, this wasn't good, man. This was every bit as overbooked as the same kind of multi-man match on AEW. And some people are going to get annoyed that I use that as a point of comparison. I'm sorry. It's just that I've seen a lot of clunky multi-man matches that are too overbooked in that particular promotion. Doesn't make sense to me to put Andrade into the match instead of Carlito if you're going to take Dragon Lee out.
Yeah.
If you're going to take Dragon Lee out, then why didn't you replace him with Carlito? There were way too many people accompanying ringside. I get that you want to have a payday and stuff like this, but there were so many people out there that I couldn't really focus on the match. This really just felt like a TV tag match to me. I think, again, this suffered from coming after that opening women's match and the ladder match. So, yeah, can't give a very high rating. I think that this is the second worst match on the show. We'll get to the one that I dislike the most later. But, yeah, this was a real lull for me.
Right. Well, I didn't have as much of a problem with the match. I thought it was cool for Andrade to have his first WrestleMania match. Same with Santos. The thing was, okay. Look, Ray's getting older, And I don't know if Ray necessarily needed to get the victory here. I thought that this was the time to really start to elevate a younger person like Santos Escobar. This feud's been about him and Ray. I don't think it should have been more about, Ray and Andrade tagging together. I think Santos should have been the one to pin Ray in this matchup. Um, I hope maybe this leads to a one-on-one match with Ray and Escobar at Backlash, and he can actually get the win there over Ray. It felt kind of thrown together though. I will admit, Dominic suddenly is in the tag team match, even though he's on a completely different brand, and Andrade had really barely anything to do with the LWO or Legado del Fantasma except for the last few weeks. I feel bad for Dragon Lee. He was just omitted from this match just to give Andrade the shot at WrestleMania, but we'll see where this leads to. I heard that maybe Carlito is going to be turning heel or something along those lines. But again, there's another guy who doesn't seem to have been used a whole lot since his return to WWE. So it was okay. 11 minutes, 2 seconds. Let's move forward to the match that I would say was the most disappointing match of the whole weekend. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso.
This was bad.
Highly anticipated. For the longest time, you'd seen these two teaming together for the longest time. I was wondering one day what it would be like if the Usos went one-on-one. You think about Matt and Jeff at WrestleMania 25. You think about Bret and Owen at WrestleMania 10. I thought that this was going to be an all-timer that we would remember for years to come. This match only went 11 minutes and 7 seconds. I'm not one for long matches, but for something where Jimmy and Jay are battling for the very first time one-on-one, whoever agented this match, huge wag of the finger, dude. I don't know what the hell was going on. There was no heat. There was no fire. There was no anger. There was no passion. All we got were two people super kicking each other too many times.
It's 12 super kicks as well. I counted in that match. I was
no peaks. No 12, valleys, no suspense,
super kicks.
None of those near falls we would expect. No pure emotion seemed to come out here. I never usually this critical, but this match was literally the opposite of what it was supposed to be and what we were all expecting to see. They had one shot at this, and they absolutely blew it. I'm sorry, Jim and Jay. The result was incorrect. Jimmy should have got the win here, because where the F do we go with this now? Where do we go with it? It's been mostly about Jay and Roman and all that with the bloodline. Jimmy finally got his time to shine when he turned on Jay. It should have been his time to actually be elevated and beat Jay here, so we can continue this thing and have some heat on it going to the next pay-per-view. Oh my God. Juicy Boy, go for it.
All right. I'm giving this match an F. You said that you're not normally this critical. I feel like you actually came into this with too much of a positive mindset, because this match was everything I expected it to be. I knew that it was just going to be leg slapping super kicks over and over again, standing there with the dramatic facial expressions. Honestly, this looked like two high school kids, like cosplaying as wrestlers. This looked like two athletic enough kids doing a backyard wrestling match and just doing whatever it felt like would pop them. And once again, I would call it out in the other company, man. So I'm going to call it out here. 12 super kicks, man. And I'm not exaggerating. I counted them, bro. I was counting. 12 super kicks. A botched Samoan drop. Like, how do you fuck up a Samoan drop? And then I remember basically the two hip attacks in the corner, and that's all I remember other than them just looking angsty and upset at each other. Like the spot that they were involved in the next night at WrestleMania was better than what they did in the match. I don't like having to say this, but this was a bad match. Like, if the Usos personally don't agree, if they're happy with it, fine, I guess. But I haven't heard any fan online, no matter where they stand, whether they're like a modern fan, an old school fan, whether they're into all the crazy stuff in AEW or not, everyone has been united in saying this match wasn't it. It was unfortunate. Yeah.
What a shame, bro. What a shame. I really thought it was going to be one to be remembered for years. I thought it would have really worked on something there. Jay versus Roman last year was really good. So I was thinking, okay,
Yeah.
like the two brothers will probably sit there. They probably travel together quite a lot. You'd think that they would really map out like a barn burner of a 15 to 20-minute match or something like that. But 11 minutes and 7 seconds of just
Bro,
nothingness, no heat.
we've seen backyard wrestling matches with more psychology and stuff like that than we saw in this match.
Yeah. Let's move forward, Juicy Boy.
Yes.
Six women's tag team matchup here. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill in her in-ring debut. Naomi taking on Damage Control of Asuka, Dakota Kai, and Kairi Sane. Take it away, Juicy Boy.
Yeah, I feel like this was a good little bit of pick me up. Obviously, the right team won. I thought that Jade, Bianca, and Naomi looked fantastic. I thought that their opponents just also, as always, did a fabulous job. I'm going to give the match a C plus. I thought that it's an example of when you get a match on the card. I like it when the match is exactly what it needs to be for its position on the card, and that's what I feel like here. And I want to also address Mark Henry taking a little shot at fucking Kairi Sane because during the entrances when Bianca and Naomi and Jade all stepped into the ring, Mark Henry on Busted Open Radio, he went off on Kairi Sane because she waited about 2 seconds longer than her tag team partners to get out of the ring, and she walked across to the other side to hop out rather than just step. And he's saying, oh, if I was in there, I would have taken her head off. That's disrespecting the business. Like, Mark, everything you did prior to 2008 was disrespecting the business, bro. Like, I've seen you versus Booker T at Armageddon 2003. Don't tell me that she was disrespecting the business when you never had a good match before 2008 after being signed since 1996. We're talking about a guy in his early 50s who weighs like 400 pounds, who's going off on a radio show, sitting next to some fuckhead in a dressing gown, saying how she's not respecting the business and he would have taken her head off. That's rude. That's vulgar. And that's just Mark Henry going out there and getting angry about something like which no one else in the fucking world picked up on.
I didn't even notice.
Until he brought it up. So that's my main takeaway from this. Fuck yourself, Mark Henry.
I didn't notice that at all. I didn't, whatever. I didn't notice anything. I mean, I probably because I was too busy looking at how impressive everyone in the ring was looking right then and there.
Yeah.
You know, I saw all over social media, even in the household I was in, people kept on going on about how sizzling hot Dakota Kai looked in her outfit. Very nice outfit. It was a fun match. It showcased Bianca, Jade, and Naomi well. Naomi really needed something like this to help her with her return to WWE and get her footing. Bianca needed to be kept away from the women's championship scene and needed to do something less main eventy. And Jade, of course, needed to make her debut and show that she had learned a lot during a time of her performance center and show that, you know, she's arrived. I think Asuka, Dakota, and Kairi need to be given some props here for doing such a good job in making the baby faces look strong here and giving Jade the deserved debut that she, you know, she should have. 8 minutes, 3 seconds. Let's move forward. Getting close to the end here, bro. WWE Intercontinental Championship on the line. Gunther defending against Sami Zayn. Juicy Boy, I am gutted, disappointed with the decision being made to have Gunther's title reign end here at the hands of Sami Zayn. Whilst the match itself was great, I had to scratch my head wondering why in the hell they would end Gunther's reign to somebody who had already won the Intercontinental Championship on 3 occasions and not somebody like Chad Gable, who people really wanted to see win that belt for the first time. I understand this would have perhaps kept Sammy off the WrestleMania card, but I'm sure you could have figured out something for him. Maybe make the US title match a 4-way. I don't know. I know he's not the same brand.
I would have been quite happy for him to sit out this year.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I don't think anyone really has a lot of sympathy. You know,
not everyone needs to be on the card, really. I mean, it would be a shame for him not to be on there, but I think everyone really wanted to see Chad beat Gunther for it. If it wasn't him, just someone who hasn't won the Intercontinental Championship before. That's just me. I was baffled at the decision. I could not believe it after everything, after all the people Gunther had put down, and he loses to Sami Zayn, nothing against him. But again, Way too many baby faces went over on this show. Where's their heat? Babyface, babyface, babyface. The only heels that went over, Rhea's been essentially a babyface because people cheer for her. The only heels that really went over was A-Town Down Under when they won the tag titles halfway through the ladder match. And of course, what happened to the main event. But geez, just a big complaint for me. Again, the match was good, 15 minutes, 29 seconds, but the result was incorrect as far as I'm concerned. Juicy Boy,
Yeah,
any extra thoughts?
not only was the result incorrect, the whole build-up was incorrect as well. Why is a guy that just won in the main event of night one last year suddenly all this time later lacking in confidence and worried about, and why is he all of a sudden mourning the loss to a Roman Reigns that he had at Elimination Chamber last year, even though he since went on to vanquish the Bloodline at Mania and win the tag titles? It doesn't make sense. It's just an excuse for WWE to go with Sammy over Chad Gable or somebody else, because he's obviously still someone that they look at as one of their main guys. But you have to call out these things the same way we would if Vince was still booking or if it was a show on the other from the other promotion. So it'd be hypocritical not to call it out and say that this wasn't the right move booking wise. The match itself was a B plus, good quality match. I don't think it actually equaled the standards of either Chad Gable's match against Gunther or Sammy versus Gunther on Raw, which they had to qualify for this. Both of those matches were probably better than this one, you know. So this was still good because of course it is, but I didn't want to see Gunther lose the title, and I definitely don't want to see Sammy defend it.
No, I agree. Okay, let's move forward to the main event of the evening here, Juicy Boy. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins against the bloodline of Roman Reigns and The Rock with Paul Heyman at ringside. Biggest tag team match in WrestleMania history. Juicy Boy, take it away.
All right, the match is going to get an A minus, and it was a tremendous tag team main event. We had a tag team main event in night one of last year. That match ended up being a great match, despite there being too many super kicks in it. I think here, the main event of night one, I was surprised at the fact that The Rock physically was involved in a lot of this match, a good deal of it, just as much as anyone else. The previous times where he had come back, he really did. He came back for that tag match, and then every time he would have a match, he'd do the same spot where he'd do a couple of deep arm drags, and then, you know, he basically did real basic stuff, and then he had his main moves that he would hit. And he kind of did the same thing here in this match, in the sense that he wasn't going to be doing any crisscrosses or doing any fucking dives out of the ring. However, I think that The Rock actually outperformed himself last year at WrestleMania, last decade, sorry, when he was in the ring. I think that he did a really good job. I love the finish of this match. I love the fact that it was a declarative, definitive finish. You know, it wasn't just like a rock bottom out of something else. It was like he measured him, hit that rock bottom, centered him perfectly. Cody took the perfect, impactful bump. I would have just had the three after that. I've never agreed with the people's elbow itself being used to pin people, because the people's elbow is really more of a disrespect thing. You know, the elbow itself, it's not like he puts all of his force behind it like Abdullah the Butcher or Dusty Rhodes or Andre. So that's my only nitpick. I felt like everybody in this match did an absolutely tremendous job. I thought that they really had a good balance of not making Roman seem inferior to The Rock. And I like the fact that this was treated really seriously. They didn't detour to do any silliness in it or whatever. Like, yeah, there were some funny lines when you could hear The Rock mouthing off and stuff like that, but it's not like they didn't do anything to go out of their way to kind of get chuckles. They treated it very seriously. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, cool, bro. I mean, I don't have much else to add there other than it was very interesting to see Roman accidentally spear The Rock. I really liked that part.
That was awesome, man.
I did like that. Like Rollins was like he was taken out, man, and Cody was left by himself. And when he's by himself, Rollins couldn't do anything to help. It didn't take Roman and Rock very long to finish that off. spear, tag in, rock bottom. I agree. Didn't need a people's elbow, just needed a pinfall after that. Then hit a people's elbow after the match if you
Yeah,
want.
if you want to put some stank on it, like yeah.
Yeah. But there we go, Juicy Boys. So it wasn't a bad start to WrestleMania 40 for night one. 7 matches, but I would have had heels go over in at least 3. Again, the Bloodline, Gunter, and Jimmy Uso should have won their matches. If Jay really did need to win, then Santos going over Ray, I think, would have made a bit more sense. So yeah, I think some of the match results and the disappointment of the Usos not having a good match at all kind of hurt things a little bit. But despite that, everything else was pretty awesome. Do you have a rating out of 10, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna give the show a 9 out of 10. Because actually, no, let's bump it down. I'm gonna go with an 8 out of 10. I think 9 out of 10 would be a little too high, but I think this was a really good show. It mostly delivered on what I wanted out of it personally as a fan. So yeah, I reckon that this night one was a great show, and obviously the main event, getting the Juicy Boy recommendation, go out of your way to check it out because neither of us can do it justice ourselves.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Just above good. I think it was a great show. Okay, Juicy Boy, we're gonna respond to 4 tweets here, one of which that you picked out from so the first one's here from G status underscore right. And he said, now I see why WWE gave AEW all that free publicity, not only to get people to not think of the SA charges, but Triple H knew his WrestleMania was going to effing suck. Lol, this shit is worse than garbage. What do you have to say to that, Juicy Boy?
Your tweet's worse than garbage, sir. Number one, WWE has not deliberately been trying to give AEW attention. WWE makes sometimes passing references to AEW's existence, and every time they do, all of their fans just go fucking crazy and keep retweeting it and engaging with it. So why wouldn't they do that? Number two, it has absolutely nothing to do with the sexual assault allegations. I feel quite confident at this point that all the people involved in those sexual assault allegations are now no longer working in the company in key executive roles. I think that this tweet is bordering on libelous because he basically accuses Triple H of being knowledgeable and partially complicit in everything that's going on. And now he's doubling down and saying that every shot that's been taken at AEW must be to deflect from the sexual assault, or if not that, the fact that he knew it was going to be a shit WrestleMania. Why the fuck would he run the show like that if he knew it was going to be shit? Yeah. Do you think that when they were having the production meeting for WrestleMania 9, which is notoriously known for being a bit of a so-so mania, do you think that they sat there and went, well, guys, this is, I don't think it's going to be that great a show, but we're already here, so we might as well go on. No, that's not, nobody sets out to run a fucking show knowing that it's going to be bad. Like Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld never approved a script on that show until it was perfect. It's an absolutely ridiculous idea to just think, oh, Triple H needs something to deflect away from what he knows is a bad card. That's just, this person who wrote that tweet lives in a fantasy land, and I suggest that professional therapy may be something that they seriously need to consider, if that's the inferences that they drew from watching WrestleMania Night 1. Like, seriously.
What a dumb thing to say. So the next tweet from Juan Lopez 630. WrestleMania Night 1 was disappointing and predictable, but the main event saved Night 1. I beg to differ, Juan. I thought it was unpredictable that Rhea won. I thought it was unpredictable who were winning the tag title, but the ladder match. It was unpredictable that Rey and Andrade was going to win because I really thought that the heels were going to go over. I thought it was unpredictable that the Usos were going to have a shit match. Maybe predictable that Jade, Bianca, and Naomi will go over. Very unpredictable that Sammy would beat Gunter. And it's okay that the end of the show, the main event was predictable because, well, we knew that they were probably going to win because we would have wanted Bloodline rules for the main event of night 2. So I don't think it was predictable. Just wanted to say that. Let's look at another tweet from @OddTreeBanjo. I believe her name is Audrey. I don't know. I thought that this was a very funny tweet.
Yep, go ahead.
WrestleMania Night 1 was really fun when you don't got a bitch on Twitter telling you it sucked.
Yeah,
I love the English say when you don't got a bitch on Twitter telling you it sucked. Very good. And
absolutely.
another one here from Twitter user by the name of @TheRealDisco. His name's Glenn Gilberti.
Yeah,
While you're watching WrestleMania, don't forget that people that read Dave Meltzer vote in their year-end awards that AEW is a better product than WWE. I know you don't like Disco, bro, but that's a pretty funny tweet.
that
You
is
know
pretty funny. You
he's
know what?
baiting them in, bro. He's baiting in angry tweets.
I decided that I wanted to mention this one quickly before we go off the air, which we're doing very soon here. This tweet comes from at WWE Real One, and it's a photo,
Ugh,
and it's
fun.
captioned, and it says "See you Wednesday," and then it has a photo with the. You'll see it on the screen as I say this. It obviously has the WrestleMania 40 poster, and it says "Kids had their fun already." Then the panel beneath is the graphic for the Dynamite, where they're allegedly going to be airing the footage from All In London, and it says now it's the real men's turn. Obviously, implying that anyone that actually likes wrestling considered WrestleMania to be the kid show. I don't have to tell anyone out there, even if
He's
you
a
love.
moron, bro.
Hang on, man. I don't have to tell, even if you are the biggest AEW fan in the world right out there, you know that WWE is the biggest show and AEW is the little one. WWE is the big spoon, AEW is the little spoon. WWE is cuddling up with AEW, making it feel safe, whispering sweet nothings in its ear, promising to protect it and help keep wrestling overall popular. And AEW's there, that little spoon. All right, let's move on. That analogy didn't work out well, but you get it.
WWE Real. He's an idiot. He's always saying dumb things. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
He's probably the worst of all of them. There are a few bad ones, but he's the worst.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's just someone who's just purposely saying things.
If it's a troll account, if it's a troll account, I will take back everything that I've said.
I will applaud.
If it turns out to be a troll account somewhere down the line, I'm going to change my stance on the guy and consider him the greatest comic genius. Like
he actually worked us, bro. Imagine that. Okay, let's leave it there, Juicy Boy. Thank you for your time here on our Night 1 review of WrestleMania.
Yeah, no fucking problem, mate. And in about 2 seconds, we're going to start recording the next one.
We are. Let's get it over and done with. Thank all of you out there for joining us here for Night 1, WrestleMania 40, Karlifornia, Juicy Boy, Slab Society. See you in about 10 minutes. Thank you.